The temperature wasn't as hot as the forecast. It's 2 degrees lower, so that was pretty cool. So relief. um, uh, I'll have to go look up Phil Rothschild. I've never looked him up. Or have I? I don't recall. Guys, when you look at things, eternally, you see the cup as half full. When you look at things in a finite design, you always see it as half empty. When you see the soul of self and you have faith in that, the cup is always full. You put water in the glass, it's always full. You need water to live. If you put sand in the hourglass, you're always turning it over, and that's all you have is time, and it's just full of sand, and there's no water to maintain life. And you can't have life on the moon or Mars. Right? It doesn't exist as we know it. Okay. There's time on Mars. You can go there to die. There's time on the moon. You can go there to die. You can build your invention and go die on these orbs to do your time that cannot exist without the water, the blood of Christ here on planet Earth, right? And so when you get people that see life as the sand, their cup is always half empty, right? These are the days of our lives. And if you see people that realize we need the blood of Christ to live, to love, not to survive. Surviving is what you do on Mars or the moon. With your hourglass, trying to understand and discover everything. Excessive compulsive behaviors. Irrational excessive compulsive behaviors. They had a short on there of Sly Stallone making an action movie, jumping over tops of trucks on train tracks and stuff blowing up for money, right? I used to get mad. I used to be, man, guys, when I exercise, it's to be healthy. When I was getting sick and tired because of all the abuse on Amy and it was affecting the kids, I couldn't get up and down off the floor real good to play with Kate. And that upset me, so I started exercising again. It wasn't to compete with the guys that were fucking Amy. It was to play with Kate and be healthy playing with Kate. And then she got pregnant with Crumb and, stuff. And so, every time I do something to be healthy, it's not to compete with Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan who are trying to outfuck me by fucking my wife. It's to be healthy to enjoy my family. Okay? I am way different than you people that have business partners that study me and then compare themselves to me. I don't put cameras in their home and study them 24/7 and compare myself to them, because I don't want to see. Mama told me not to come. Don't turn on the light because I don't want to see. Like Cat Williams said about the Temple of Illuminati parties and shit. I don't care to know. Okay. And like Amy with the stuff with the videos of being at James and that other guy's parties, the bisexual and James and all the homosexual and bisexual kids that would swap ice cubes and stuff. And hold on a minute. Being interrupted by the damn TVs. Okay. Yeah, if he's having trouble with the TV, like I said, I don't censor these. And so I don't like my train of thought to be interrupted. And then if I start again, it's not going to be the same thought process. So we're correcting problems with human brain activity that invented technology to keep human brain activity trapping the soul in the mind. All right, so this is very important. So I'm gonna stop that. You guys are gonna look at the ceiling. I'm gonna come back and keep talking, just as if you were here in the room with Earl on Perry Mason with the luggage, with the furs inside the luggage. See, that's the wonderful thing about this advertising. Okay, this didn't happen. Okay, it doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen again, right? And so this didn't happen. Okay, she's sitting there acting like something broke, and this guy's coming to fix it, and that didn't happen. Okay, this is REM, world leader pretend, right? So you got to understand that this doesn't need to happen. Care, share, give in accordance to need, built to last. We don't need to spend our time watching Perry Mason solve crimes of people killing each other over insurance money and over, divorcing over money and insurance claims over money and all this crazy crap that human beings do when they become enamored with their information and their invention, right? And you saw it in that movie that I was watching about Sally Hemings with Thomas Paine, right? And yeah, it's probably based off actual facts and events, okay? But the facts are, money's not real. And the facts are, Jesus repeats that repeatedly in the Bible, and so do all the stories in the Bible, okay? So when you get people that accept money as reality, their reading comprehension skills and applying it in physics when it comes to the Bible and the Quran are obviously none too really good, there, none too good, there, really good, there, too good, none good, too. Right on? Okay. So, this is Marla Gibbs, right? And she's not really Florence, and she's not really a maid for Sherman Hemsley, right? Okay. And that's not his wife, that's Isabella Stanford. Okay. She's not really married to Sherman Hemsley. Okay. So this didn't happen, and it's not happening. And it doesn't need to, right? Forgive debt and trespass, love one another, through faithful peace. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Why have you forsaken me? Do you guys understand the spirit of the Messiah better now? Where's Norman Lear gone? Right? And so this didn't need to happen because it didn't happen because it's not real. This is an invention of ideas to sell products. Nikon cameras, taking a photograph, LeBaron station wagon, right? You can call me Ray and you can call me Jay, but you doesn't have to call me Johnson, right? Hey, Vern. Guess what, Vern? Right. So, that's the advertising back during this show, right? Do you understand? Okay, so be very still. She's going to kill that fly. Right? And you shouldn't sit there on TV going, when I get older, where's my Marla Gibbs? Where's my Isabella Stanford? Okay. We should be able to go to school. Okay. And if Michelle Pettis wants to date you, you should be able to date her. Okay. Without being abused by her father's sex cult tribalism. My dad didn't abuse Michelle Pettis with his father's sex cult tribalism and his mother's sex cult tribalism. Okay. But for some reason, in the United States of America, because this isn't real, Mr. Pettis felt that he could abuse me and his daughter with his sex cult tribalism. I ain't afraid of you, Massa Tom Jefferson, right? Michelle was just picking out the best guy in school to date and wanting to have kids with. And she chose me. And her dad had her date dumbass Freddie LaFall and stupid ass Stacy Garner and getting in my face. Well, you act like a chick. I act like a chick because if a girl says she's not ready to have sex, I'm not ready to have sex. That's acting like a chick. Okay? She says wait because we're young and we're in high school, and if we get pregnant, we will be tortured by people that own banks. I completely agree with her and say, you're right, But do you think there's things that we could do that won't get us pregnant or a sexually transmitted disease that we don't have to tell anybody about until we're old enough to do so? Let's put our brains together. And I think that Michelle would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with that. We dated through high school, and then went to university, because Whitey Kaufman and Jimmy Oliver weren't jealous of Ralph Parsons and his kid, and weren't jealous of Mr. Ponce's kid, or Mr. Diaz's kid, or Mr. Leidenheimer's kid. Right? And we won state championships in basketball because, I don't know if it would have happened because if Jimmy Oliver was his best friend and wasn't jealous of my dad and me, then we probably would have won Greg Disco and Kelly Wainwright and Jimmy Gavora and all. Well, they would have won a state championship or two because they were juniors when I was a soph. And then, Ralph Padilla and Gerald Williams would have stayed there, and Franz Conway and Darren Veazey and Steve Munoz and what was his name? Joe Reed. Yeah, I like Joe Reed. He's a good guy. Yeah. And maybe we would have been able to keep Waylon on the team, and he wouldn't have ended up at New Mexico Military Institute because maybe he could have stayed at our house because I liked Waylon. He's my dog, So, but but that wasn't meant to be because of this. Because it wasn't real, it's not real, and it's not meant to be real. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. Why have you forsaken me? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Hey, Lenny, you'll do it too. Right? Zoe's doing it too, right? Right, Lenny? Are you going to go my way, black girl? Your ancestry's lost. Be a woman. Be a man. Make sure that your ancestry is based on truth and faithful love. Not a bunch of wall paintings by a bunch of mass murderers in a dick measuring contest, right? See the dick measuring contest behind Isabella Sanford's shoulder there? Did you see it? Did you see it? You see it? You didn't see it? Watch. When she moves, you're going to see the phallic symbol sitting by the window over her shoulder. You ain't going to see it. Let's rewind it here. I'll show you the dick in the window. See it? Did you see it? You didn't see it, did you guys? Look. Look closely. Is it subliminal? See the phallic symbol? It's like the Washington Monument there. See it? It's white. In black folks' house. George Jefferson didn't know he had biggest dickus from the White House sitting on his furniture right there behind Isabella Stanford's shoulder. Think that's Norman Lear trying to send a subliminal temple set poo-poo potty Freemason messages saying, I own these niggas, and if they want to get a part in the movie, she gonna have to let me titty fuck her. Okay, don't think that. No, I find Isabel Stanford attractive, okay? And the older I get, the more attractive she is, okay? I always found Jack Hay, Harry, and Marla Gibbs attractive, even when I was young. And that was like one of those things, like, finding Lilith Munster attractive, right? Because I've always been intelligent and known when you get older, it would be nice to be with someone that you're still very vehemently attracted to when you get older, When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, right? You'll be old then too. Are your parents Lennon and McCarthy too? Boss babies. No, but she's an adorable woman, and her raspy voice is very it's very attractive. It has its own quality. You know, you're not being gay. She doesn't look like a man. Well, there's no way in hell that woman looks like a man. Okay, she does not look like a man. Okay, unless that man smokes a lot of marijuana, has very nice ass. Maybe it's Stody Bradley. Okay, Stody. I remember that when I was in. See, that is definitely a woman. She's all woman, right? She ain't gonna be playing in the WNBA and have people complaining because she boxing everybody out because she's got stronger thighs because she's a man. She's definitely a woman, and that's Lenny Kravitz's mama right there. I always thought it was Elizabeth Stafford that was mom, but it was actually Mrs. Willis. Yeah, that is Lenny Kravitz's mother. Okay, but no, and so do you understand? I always had more of an attraction to. Yeah, the shorter girl with the raspy voice. Yeah, she's pretty. She reminds me a lot of Rhonda Brown, the first girl I ever had sex with. Okay, Mrs. Willis. Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Rhonda. Yeah, Rhonda used to wear those tight yellow pants and look at me with those eyes and look at like you couldn't help but look because she was a track athlete. She looked so damn good in those pants. And I'd look over and go, she knows exactly what she's doing. You know, she's Wendy Peppercorn. And she'd look over at me and look at me and smile, and I'd be like, damn, she caught me looking again. I couldn't help myself. She had such a nice figure, right? She had a big smile. She flirted with me all the time. And I was a teenage boy that was like that piece of artwork behind Mr. Wilson's elbow, right? Now, right? Just like, the kiddo, the son, TJ or whatever and stuff like that with the math book with John Goodman on the corner on Roseanne. Remember that? I never saw that before there. The white phallic symbol with the... Yeah, I never saw that. I mean, I saw it. I just never noticed it till now. This is the first time I ever noticed the big white penis and the Jeffersons that's right in the center of every shot in just about every scene. I did not know that. Okay. Did you guys know that? You know that? Hey, look, it's Alan, their white son that falls in love with no, she doesn't fall in. Okay, their daughter is half just like the son, and the daughter ends up with Lionel. That's right. Okay, but this is the son that came out white like Noah and Emily, right? And that Mr. Jefferson gives a hard time to. Okay, so yeah, it's goofy. No, there are people with black genetics in their body, like Lena Horne, that look like this guy. Okay, yeah. There are two in my family. Okay. One's named Noah, one's named Emily. Right? Wait a minute, your mom is black. There are black folks in the of that lady at that officer's wife at Fort Huachuca and Sierra Vista at the store. She goes, "What are you?" I said, "Of the 4 to 5 people in the woodpile that I know of, genetically that we're supposed to be a part of. What 4 would you have me kill to be but 1?" She was like this. Yeah, I've been this way my whole life, right? Well, because it's intelligent. Okay, what are you? I'm a human being. My name is Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. Because they name people after my dad's surname of his dad's surname of his dad's surname, which is Parsons. Okay. Like my crazy ass Grandpa Murphy, You see an Irishman married to anybody to a goddamn Ubangi, right? And my mom, I bet you the babies are cute. Yeah. All babies are cute. All babies are cute, right? All babies are cute. That's not true. To me, they are. To me, they are. I know, when they have birth defects from selfish pigs that cause these babies to have terrible things they have to deal with in their lives and end up on Shriners commercials. Okay? But you can't tell me those kiddos on those Shrine commercials, when they smile at you and they get love, that they're not cute. Because if you say they're not cute, I'm going to kick you in your money maker so fucking hard it's going to take the Hubble telescope to find your sorry ass. You understand me? Do I make myself perfectly clear? Okay. No, they're cute. When children are loved and they give you that smile. Remember Steve at Latch? At 2 years old that ended up in the pool? And at 17 was still getting his diapers changed like he was 2, and his mom would come in and she beat herself up every day. You could feel it was torture. She would come in and she was the sweetest lady, right? And she had the nice house and it had the pool and it even had the gate, okay? But he was a very vicious kid that wanted to do what all the big people did, and he got into that pool. You know, like Lou Costello's kid. Right? He was saved, and he was like a big baby till the day he died. Okay. And then you get people, why didn't you just kill him? Because that's inhumane, right? It's inhumane to murder people. Well, you got to put him out of his misery. Okay, his brain is aware of what's happening. And he was a total sweetheart. And he was sweet. And what was her name again? Becky would always, you're so sweet. She'd tell him that every day. You're just such a big sweetheart. When you're so sweet and the hugs you give make our day, right? Was they would always tell Steve, and he would smile at you and he would hug you. Okay. He was 17 and pretty much size of a 17-year-old body, and it didn't develop as well as Sylvester Stallone jumping over cars and bombs blowing up to sell products for erection pills and Miracle Air and tack glasses, But, he got bigger, and it was it was back-breaking work to have to pick him up and change his diaper and put him back into his stroller and so forth. But oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Walk on. Boom. Okay. So we have to find ways to take time to make time to be there. I loved you best. You're not like the rest. You're there when I need you. You're there when I need you. I'm going to need you. Friday night, it was late. I was walking you home. We got down to the gate, and she doesn't need gold. Okay? These little cuties right there. Look at those faces and see the child. Okay? See the child that didn't get enough time with mom and dad. Okay? That didn't get a fire softly burning, suffer on the stove. It's a light in your eyes that keeps me warm, right? 8 days on the road or barely gone, 9 days or whatever. Okay? Because of extortion, exploitation. Why did he leave the little green valley? Because he had to go be a soldier. Because you're in the army now. You're not behind the plow. You'll never get rich by digging a ditch. You're in the army now. Come on, you son of a bitch. Do as you're told. Right? And when you get all these great ideas and this great learning, okay, Haile Selassie, right? Anything that you think you acquire from learning, okay, if you use it for selfish reasons, you negate all the wisdom, right? And it's not technically acquired from learning. It's relative forms of communication, choosing either right or wrong, good or bad, to be or not to be. That is the question, right? Okay. You fuckers are exhausting. You're extremist. I don't care how high I can jump or how fast I can run I'm not even going to try it. I'll go out there and have some fun. I ain't going to try to play competitive basketball with nobody. You guys have kicked me in the shins with soccer when I was the gringo, the weirdo, the white guy, the man, when I was a little kid and everybody knew I looked white. And then, I got tortured through elementary school because of that. Then we move away and I'm Mexican and I get tortured for being Mexican. And now as an old man, it's most vogue to be prejudiced against white privilege and old white men. And who do I look like? Goddamn Gregory Peck, old gringo. Son of a bitch. Okay. It's like, how come when I was working on Olay and I colored my hair and went all jail yard on my hair thing, everybody thought it was a Mexican man, okay, in his 30s, casing places to rip it off. Now, as a white man in my 40s, being abused and profiled by people that for some reason still think they're more intelligent than me. And I'm having to do a lowbrow extortion gig so they can give me money and make it feel like they're helping me take care of my family, because it's not time to live the Lord's Prayer quite yet. Let's go visit the Presidential Museum in your general vicinity. What would be the closest? I think it would probably be one like the Lyndon Baines Johnson Museum in Texas, because the Kennedy Museum, it would be in Massachusetts, right? And yeah, so Lyndon Baines Johnson in Texas, right? I don't think we've had any presidents born in New Mexico and or Arizona. I guess he'd rather be in Colorado. I don't think there's one in Colorado. I think there's probably a lot in Nueva York. Are there any in California? Knows how to party. There's one in Arkansas. There's also one in Arkansas. Oh, it's Arkansas. Okay, sorry. Mom, Pa Kettle. I'm from Arkansas. There's one in Arkansas. I hear Little Rock calling, homesick tears are falling. I've been away from a little rock town too long. Gonna have a worried mind till I cross that Arkansas line. I hear Little Rock calling me back home. That's from Ferlin Husky. You know, the guy that sings, on the wings of a snow-white dove, he sends his pure sweet love. Yeah, I hear Little Rock calling a little bit better. Well, it's not quite so much of a limerick. A limerick? Yeah, limericks, some can be elongated and repetitive. Well, because they make more money that way. They do. Oh, she's built and knows how to please. Enough knock a strong man to his knees. Ow, she's a brick. Sally Hemings, house. Yeah, when I was told that she had a little bit fuller figure than the girl that plays her in the Sam Neill movie, I think in the Nick Nolte movie, that the girl that plays her is a little bit more full-figured. She is the much younger sister of, and it says so in that movie, you know, you look just like her. She's the much younger sister through another woman of the father of his first wife. Okay. And in both cases, okay, both women are the property of that man, okay, and then are given to, okay, Thomas Jefferson as property and inheritance, because he's a good father and a good man, you know, which he is. He's, you know, as far as in ancient times and that kind of barbaric perception of reality, you know, Thomas Jefferson is a good dude. You know, when you watch those movies and you read her memoirs and stuff like that, it's obvious, you know, that he has troubles with this because he feels it quite immoral, but he can't help himself. This is too tempting. She looks too much like his wife when she was young, okay, that passed away, only she's even more attractive. Okay. And so it's like it's absolute torture for him. And he looks just like his wife, but it's her little sister with a woman. Boy, I bet the babies are cute. Yeah. Sally Hemings, from all accounts and stuff like that, and it drove the two daughters, you know, they were friends, but it drove them crazy. It's like, well, I can't believe this. You're having sex with our father. She saw him as security, which he was. He was able to take her children and send them to France to be free from being property. Okay, So yeah, she knew exactly. Wendy Peppercorn knew exactly what she was doing. They brought the drugstore and had 6 kids, right? Okay. And they sent them to France to be free from being property through linguistics that are laws written down by human beings that feel superior to other human beings with their written laws forever. 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 Got to pickle the beast, right? Hercules, that's the name of the dog, right? We called the dog Hercules. We called the cat Indiana. Okay. Do you guys understand? Okay. So we'll get through this. This is my job. Okay. Rockefeller told me this. He said, all these scientists that are abusing you and trying to kill you with depression from all the people that they think aren't as good as them, that they're killing with linguistics, laws, and drugs and poisoning through economics. They're going to come running to you at the last minute and be Bart Simpson on The Simpsons, and Lisa's going to be sitting there watching Prayer, the Last Refuge of a Scoundrel, right? And it's cute. These two are supposed to be brother and sister, and there's real chemistry between the two of them because they really ain't related. They're sitting there dancing all close and everything like that, and you can tell they like each other. But on camera, they're supposed to be brother and sister. But in reality, they're liking each other. You can see it in their eyes. Like, he's cute, and she's cute. The Willis kids, yeah, they're very, 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 very cute. Yeah, and they're a cute couple. But in reality, they're not brother and sister. Okay, in reality, they have a good time, right? Because wow, I get to press up against and dance with this girl and look her in the eye and flirt with her, and you can see it in them, and it's like, wow, yeah. Okay, so, but because this didn't happen, it isn't happening, and it doesn't have to happen. Why have you forsaken me? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Instead of being home and he just kissed her like that's his daughter, and she kissed him like and that's not happening. And her real father, she doesn't know. And her real brother, she doesn't know. He got sent off to Vietnam and died. His dad was incarcerated. Okay, so the big white penis in the middle of the Norman Lear, in the middle of the Jefferson's apartment, that's who's daddy. Otto Preminger's daddy. Before that, why? Because Pharaoh was daddy. Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember what Marcus Garvey said? People found a knowledge in a history, so forgive them 7 times upon infinity. And then Ted Mills and Blue Magic. Tear it down, start over again. I only stop so we can start all over again, 'cause I love you, baby. Don't be a drama queen like that. Just tear it down and start over again. We can make a brand new start. Earl, I spent my life loving you. Please don't go and say we are through. You don't have to pull the stars out of the sky for me. We already did that cruising down Central. Yeah, it's in the book of Revelation. John, he's a good guy. I love him too, yes. Okay, but I'm the spirit of him. So if you want to understand what's happening in the book of Revelation, you don't go to a murdering asshole who votes for president and kills people for petroleum products to manipulate people with the delusion of limericks for money they call laws, right? But when you want the real truth or the real proof about the truth of the Gospels, because I live them, I don't write them down to manipulate people with tribalism to kill for money, right? Okay, all you Osamas out there? Okay, Bin Laden. Hey, look, it's Sacha Baron Cohen. That didn't happen. It wasn't happening. It didn't happen. And it doesn't need to happen again, right? Ricky Bobby, y otra vez. Wedding planner, y otra vez. Okay, hustlers, y otra vez. You get all, it's like a country song played back. You get your children back, you get your husband back, you get your dog back, you spend more time with Zeke than you do canvassing for the Obamas to celebrate at the Howard Johnson's, where your mom got sick from secondhand smoke because she had to work 2 jobs to pay her bills. And that's loving your neighbor. Sod the fuck off, stand up for the Lord's Prayer, or shut the fuck up. Okay? I love you too. Okay? Live in the Lord's Prayer. That's loving your neighbor. Have faith in God, okay? And love your neighbor. Okay? Jesus said, forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. He didn't say, love my ego, because that's not tangible, and then give people money and call it love. Oh, so a golden shower off the balcony there. It's called trickle-down economics, and it's going to save us all from socialism. Yeah. How communism of you. Okay, Machiavelli. Get to work, Updike.